Right, so today's video is all about verticutting, why people do it, what actually happens to the lawn when you do the process, but also as well thinking about, do we actually have to? Is this something you need to do to actually get yourself a fairly decent lawn? So let's start off then with what the purpose of verticutting is, because it's really similar to just cutting your lawn in general. Now, when we get on with our mower, all we're doing is taking off the top part of the growth, and what that does is it sends a signal to the plant to produce more leaf. So the common phrase is the more you cut your lawn, the thicker your lawn becomes, and it's true because it is effectively just a pruning technique. And when you prune any plant in your garden, it's going to do that exact same process, grass included. When we vertically cut the lawn, we're not cutting that vertical growth, we're cutting the lateral growth. So some grass species will grow laterally, like bent grass and fescue, producing rhizomes and stolons, and they'll creep across your grass like this. The way this verticutter blade is going to work is it's going to cut through that lateral growth, and part of what it's doing is thinning out the lawn, but at the same time it's pruning the grasses, it's encouraging more growth. So you kind of thin it to an extent to get the grass then to thicken itself back up. And it's done using a verticutter cartridge like this, so you can see we've got these kind of like ninja star fellas here with all these teeth on. That gives you just a nice clean cut. It's a nice thin blade, and there's quite a lot of them knocking about. So that makes you think then, well, how often does a verticut need to take place? And really the answer to that is not very often, because rhizomes and stolons aren't growing as fast as what the grass blades are. They're growing a lot slower. So if we are wanting to nick those to create more parent plants, then it doesn't need to be done that often. And what I mean by more parent plants is, let's say a bent grass plant produces a stolon. That stolon is going to move across your lawn, and a new parent plant is going to pop up with its own root system, and the stolon is going to continue with more and more plants. When you vertically cut, you cut that stolon, which is connecting those two grass plants, making them two now completely individual plants, which will both then send off their own stolons. And if you vertically cut the lawn again, you're going to cut those stolons, making even more parent plants, and that process is going to continue. But it's not a fast process, it's a pretty slow process, and it's what's done on a golf course to manage a golf green. But let's remember for a second that a golf green's cut from like 2 mil to like 4 or 5 mil. They're really, really short. Most lawns in a garden are not cut at those heights. So now that this lawn has been verticut, what I am going to do is swap this cartridge back out for the cylinder. I'm going to give the lawn a cut because it's brought some of those lower lying grasses to the surface. And after that, I'll give it a bit of a feed, but I'll explain more about that in a moment. So you can see there, we've taken off quite a bit of grass again just from that second cut after the verticut, because it's brought some of those grasses to the surface. So what I'm going to finish off by doing is just giving the lawn a feed, because what that's going to do is help it to recover a little bit faster. That'll be enough. That's roughly probably 2/3 of what I usually get on with, because I don't want to put too much down because it has been a little bit stressed in the heat recently. But if we put this down, we can water it in, and jobs are good. So there we go, we've verticut the lawn, we've given it a feed. We'll chuck the sprinkler on now just to water everything in, and let's give it about a week or two, and let's just see if verticutting the lawn was actually worth it. Right, so it's been a week now since we actually did the verticut on this lawn, and it's safe to say that it's recovered pretty well. If I just bring it in so you can see, we'll get right in over the top of the sward. You'll see we've got, a really nice density. We no longer have the little channels from the verticutter. You've got a few worm casts here which just squished yesterday whilst I was cutting the lawn. But for the most part, it's looking fairly decent. So it leads you to the question then, do you need to verticut? There's so much out there about, you know, the benefits of verticutting your lawn, and I uploaded a video around about 2 weeks ago talking about sort of the differences between scarifying and verticutting. And obviously scarification is something that you're probably gonna have to do a little bit more often in terms of that thatch production, but when it comes to verticutting, there's a lot out there on the internet about how you've got to verticut every week, every 2 weeks, every month. And personally, from what I've seen from managing my lawns this year, it really isn't that essential. It isn't the be all and end all of lawn care if you don't. It's kind of the fashionable thing at the moment to get out and verticut your lawn because people think there's some immense benefits from it. If you're feeding every single week, then I can see why you might need it as like a disease management tool, I guess. But this has only been verticut twice now in the past 12 months. And I'll be honest with you, the way it looks now isn't massively different to the way it was looking around about a week ago. Like, let's get into the sward. We've got a lovely density knocking about. It might have done a few bits, it might have tidied up the canopy slightly, but I'm not for doing things for the sake of it. I only want to do stuff to my lawn if it's going to have real impact. And what we've done on this channel this year is looked at how we can do less to get better results. I've done less to my lawn this year in terms of feed and liquids and all that sort of stuff applied, and I've had better results than I've ever had. And yeah, I've been out probably anything from like 2 to 4 days this summer cutting it, so that is quite a lot. And so when I say I've not done a lot, I have done a lot in that sense, but I've not had to do loads to the actual plant. All I've done is to continue to prune, and I think it shows you there that cutting your lawn is probably the most important thing you can do. What I'll show you on screen now is it's the clippings from when we did the verticut last week. You can see there's quite a bit of green growth in there because that's obviously the highest standing grass plants, and the yellow stuff, it isn't thatch, it's the parts of the grass plant which are still attached to the actual plant. It's just obviously living a little bit lower in the canopy, so it's getting less sunlight. It's less likely to be able to photosynthesize very well. At the end of the day, cutting your lawn is just cutting your lawn, regardless whether you go laterally or whether you go vertically into your lawn. You're doing it or using it as a pruning technique, and that's what's going to get you a lawn that looks like this, that looks really dense, that looks really green, because it's that constant pruning, that constant maintenance in that aspect, which is going to give you the best possible results. It's kind of like, I try to see it now as the actual cutting of the lawn probably does about maybe 80% of the work, 75%. It's only really that last 20-25% of application of products which kind of tips your lawn to that sort of even better phase, I guess you'd say. But really, it's, if you're not cutting your lawn on a regular basis, you're not going to get the results. And if you are cutting it regularly, do you need to verticut? In my opinion, no. You might disagree, you might verticut for a different reason, but you know, the internet is full of opinions. I'm just out here sharing mine and telling you that you don't really have to go out and fork out loads of money to get yourself a verticut. You can stick with the tools you've got. I'm quite fortunate on this YouTube channel to be able to showcase quite a lot of tools, but I'll be really honest, a lot of them you don't really need. As long as you've got a mower that does the job and a few products, then you're always going to get some pretty boss results. So thanks for watching today's video. If you've enjoyed it, feel free to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already. If you've got any thoughts, put them down in the comment section below. And yeah, finally, thanks for watching.